With everything going on in the world, how can we support the most vulnerable kids? Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of Hope Grows Here. My name is Isabella DiFiore, and I am the founder and CEO of Bella's Backpacks. And here with us today, we have a special guest, Jenna Martin. She is the founder and CEO of The Milo Way and the author of Milo and the Wisdom of the Sea. Hello, Jenna. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited that you are here. So I have a few questions for you today.
Okay.
The first one is, what inspired you to create the Milo Way?
Wow, that is such a big question. So, honestly, I started off as a child and family therapist. And I left because I was like, I am so many things rolled into one. I really wanted to be to really pursue writing, and be a digital designer. And I worked in the nonprofit world for a long time. And I thought, I'm going to leave this doctorate program, and I'm eventually going to create something similar to like what you learn in school with narrative therapy, but in products and stories and tools and workshops. So that is really what inspired me. And, my own personal experience with adversity, and you can read all about it on my blog. I'm not going to bore you to tears here. That's a sob story I don't want to share. But I will say that, I think you kind of write what you know, and all of my experience working with kids and parents and being a therapist in training, being a YMCA childcare director for many years, a nanny, I've got all this experience with kids, and I just know there's so much missing that we're not giving them right now. Like they're not learning the emotional ABCs. That's what I call it. It's sort of that foundational wisdom about themselves. How to manage big feelings, how to manage conflict. What is a safe adult? Like, how do I know I can go to this person? So all of those things that kids really don't get in school, and a lot of times they don't get it at home. So the Milo Way is kind of like fills in that need, I think.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
Yeah.
So how do people go to see your blog so they can read it?
They would go to themiloway.com. There's some personal stuff, so you guys can learn a little bit more about me and what inspired Milo, and also there's a bunch of writing about tools and, like how to deal with kids and loneliness, like how to, what are we doing as a society that we need to be doing better for kids? Yeah. Because I think a lot of parents, like bullying is a big theme in the book. You guys can see in front of you. I'm really, really focused on bullying. I think it's a huge problem, and it's actually creating a very high suicide rate in our country, and I know and all across the world. And so really, I kind of feel like bullying is one of my biggest causes. And I know, Bella, you work on helping kids who are abused, and those are their first bullies, right? Their parents.
Yeah.
And so I think really my goal is to empower kids to find their voice, to heal, to be able to kind of move through adversity and trauma, and find their way on the other side. And so I'm also creating, very excited about this, by the way, I'm creating a power deck. It's a card deck for kids who've been bullied or anyone who's been through something. It's kind of like therapy in a box. And that's going to be released, fingers crossed, you guys, in March. So I'm very excited about that. I feel like it's something that's missing in the market. And I've had so many parents come to me, they read my blog, and they're like, you helped my child with bullying, but do you have anything else?
Yeah.
Because that's a theme in the book, but it's also a theme in the resources that I offer on the Milo Way. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm so excited.
I feel like I know that you've told me a little bit about that card deck that you've made, and I feel like it will definitely make a really good impact on the kids who use it.
Yeah.
So with that being said, what advice would you give to someone who is trying to write a book or is trying to find out what they want to write a book about?
I would say, first of all, you can do it. It's really hard to get published. So if you decide that you have a story that you want to tell that a publisher won't pick up, tell it anyway. Don't give up on your dream. Don't give up on writing. I think one of the things that I teach kids is creative journaling. That's another workshop. And in that workshop, it's about, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to pick up a pen, pick up a pencil, and write. Just write for the sake of writing and expressing yourself. I think a lot of people think that they have to be perfect. But I think if you can think, you can write. Like, if Like if you can think a thought, you can write it down. So I would say, writing is hard, and people are relying a lot on ChatGPT and Claude, right? And I get it. Like I'm not going to lie. I use AI to edit and to brainstorm. Right?
I use AI like all the time.
Yeah.
I can't handle myself. It's just like, I feel like it's a second best friend or something.
Right.
I know.
Me too. And then people are turning to AI for like life help, you know, which I get, I totally get. I would say use AI as a tool, as your editor, but don't rely on AI to write your stuff because it's so obvious that AI has written it. Mm-hmm. And it's not just the M dashes, you guys. It's words like gentle, and they use gentle in everything.
Yeah. And if you make AI write something for you, it's not personal, and you can't feel that personal connection with the author because the author is ChatGPT. Right. I mean, that's
right. Yeah. Exactly.
So like writing it yourself is so much more fulfilling too. It makes you feel so much better about the work that you did.
Yeah. And I mean, writing is therapeutic. There's a lot of people who write like autobiographies and memoirs because they have a story that they need to get out, right? And that's really what I think, I try to teach kids too. It's like you have to find something creative to help you kind of channel your experiences, your emotions, right? Get it out of your body. And art is such a great way to do that.
It is, very much.
But I would say if you have something in you and you want to get it out, do it, And if you have to self-publish, which I did with this first book, do it. It was really hard, by the way. Like finding an illustrator, the whole process. And I'm kind of a perfectionist, and I had like a vision. But if I didn't know how to draw Milo, but I knew what he looked like in my head, So I now have a wonderful illustrator. I have a team, as you know. Mm-hmm. We're working together on this really cool video about our partnership. It's going to be super cute, and it's going to be ready in March. And we're going to be launching our first campaign to fundraise. So any book that you buy from The Milo Way will raise money for Bella's Backpacks. And I'm so excited about that.
So I'm very excited about that too. And I'm so glad that we met. It's very interesting how we met too, because I was having a fundraiser at Kendra Scott in Birkdale, and she was sitting on a bench with one of her friends. Her friend had a dog. My little Carolina Star was with me. And she was like, oh my gosh, that dog is so cute. I want to go pet it. And I was like, okay, well, let's go ask if we can go pet it then. And so as my little Carolina Star was petting her friend's dog, I was talking to Jenna about my Bella's Backpacks and what I was doing there that day. And she was telling me about the Milo Way and everything that she does with that. And I was like, that's so cool. And I was telling her how I always try and develop new partnerships with people across North Carolina or like in my community, because it's so important that people, like-minded people who have the same goal to help children come together and support them in any way possible. I was like, that's really great if we could develop a partnership like that. So we are actually going to be selling limited edition books. She will be signing them, and they will have a little sticker on the back of the book that says limited edition The Milo Way in partnership with Bella's Backpacks, that you can buy at my Bella's Heart Ball on March 28th from 6:30 to 9 p.m. at the Unity Center in Statesville, North Carolina. So make sure you come. Buy tickets on my Bella's Backpacks website for my Bella's Heart Ball. That way you do not miss this limited edition book. Mish? I said mish.
You did. It's all good.
But mish is my new word.
It is. I like it. I'm going to use it from now on.
Yeah, don't mish it.
Yeah, for sure. I also wanted to say, we kind of, Bella opened with this big question of how do we help vulnerable kids today? What is it that they need that they're not getting? And yes, there's a lot about resilience, but it's also, I feel like what you're doing, is so important. Can you tell me what inspired you to help kids who are vulnerable and being abused? Like, what was your story?
Yeah, so it was actually in elementary school. There was a program called Backpack Buddies that would pack backpacks filled with canned food items to give to children on the weekend so they would have food to eat. And, kids who come from that type of situation, a home with food scarcity, they also have a home filled with stress, I'm sure. And that stress from that the parents are feeling can lead into abuse if they don't know how to handle it any other way. And so I knew that a lot of my friends were a part of that program, Backpack Buddies, and it reminded me how much it helped them. And I was like, you know what, there are kids in this world that go through that every single day, and they don't have a support system, and they don't have an outside resource that cares about their situation and wants it to get better. And so I figured I want to do something special for them, and that's how Belle's Backpacks was kind of thought about, created, and from there I just started developing partnerships. Like Mitchell Community College, they were the first people to help me gather donations. They actually set up a 1-month donation drive on their Mitchell campus to gather donations for my Belle's Backpacks, and then they actually donated the first dozen bags for me as well to give to the Dove House, so I can start developing that partnership. And then from there, I developed a partnership with Novant Healthcare.
Yeah.
And because of the Dove House, the connection that the Dove House has with Novant. So every year, Novant Healthcare has donated the bags to me to be able to fill.
How many backpacks do they give you?
So
Usually.
the first, it depends. It's kind of deferred, but the first year that I was partnered with them, they gave me around 225 bags. The second year, they gave me over 300 bags.
Wow.
And then the third year, they gave me just under 300 bags.
Wow.
Because, you know, I mean, bags with their logo and my logo,
Right.
I'm sure is not cheap.
No, but that's still helping 300 children.
Yeah, so that's been a really
that's a
big
lot.
help.
Yeah,
and
that's
then,
amazing.
You know, all the raising money that I've done for Bella's Backpacks has also helped us buy backpacks off of Amazon of our own and put my logo onto if we needed any more extra backpacks, which I've needed extra bags too. So that's been really great. All the fundraising that I've been able to do, especially after becoming a nonprofit, it's helped tremendously.
Yeah.
And there is this teacher at Northview Academy here in Statesville. His name is Mr. Vallejos. Shout out, Mr. Vallejos. He has been printing my logo onto the bags that we've been buying off of Amazon for me for free too. So that has been a huge help.
That's huge.
So I'm really grateful that so many people in the community have come
They
together.
care about this cause.
Yeah, because it is a really important cause.
It
care
is.
about.
I think it's the most important cause, to be honest. And something you said about food scarcity, you know, it's true. Like and you know what ACEs are, adverse childhood events.
Yes.
Yes. So again, like resilience coach over here, somebody who, you know, I mean, I'm in the ACEs world, right? I feel like poverty is a huge adversity to get over. I mean, I grew up poor. We grew up very poor, my sister and I, you know, and a single parent. It was hard. Yeah. You know, and I think it's so normal and not normal. I don't want to normalize child abuse, but I agree with you that if there's poverty, there's scarcity, there's how are we going to survive? People have big emotions they don't know what to do with, right? They take it out on their children. Maybe they don't have the tools to manage, you know, their own self-regulation. Yeah. So I think, I think it's a big problem. And it's so complex, right? Because it's not just like, oh, child abuse, right? It's, well, what causes that? How do we help the people? Because it's not just children who need the help. The parents do too.
Yeah, and I mean, the parent is typically where the child abuse happens because of these adverse environments that they are living in, because of these stressors and these big feelings that they're having. They don't know how to manage that. So that's why I really love what you do too, sharing how to deal with those big emotions, especially for kids as well. That way, from a young age, they can start learning how to manage those big emotions. So once they get older, they can share that with their kids, and that abuse.
And maybe you stop the cycle, you know. So when I was in California, because I moved here a little over a year ago from California, and when I was in the Bay Area, I did a bunch of workshops for parents for birth to 5. It was a nonprofit there, and I did meditation. I taught a lot of moms how to meditate. Wow. Yeah. Meditation and journaling. I taught them 2 really big resilience skills, you know? And it was so funny because they would bring their babies into the class and the babies would come in crying. And the moment when mom started to meditate and her body started to calm down and she felt regulated, she felt grounded, the babies would stop crying. And I felt, I would get kind of emotional and choked up because I'm like, oh my God, I'm on to something here, you know? Like I'm making a difference, like in real time. And a lot of these moms were refugees.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they were refugees. They're from other countries that were, they were accepted into the U.S. as political refugees, for asylum. So the fact that they could even understand what I was saying, and follow along and do the exercises, I was like, this is what I'm meant to do. This is where I need to be, helping moms, helping kids. Because really, if you take a family systems approach to kids, you look at the whole family, it's the whole system. It's not just, the child. I mean, the child, if they're in crisis and they need to be removed from the home, that's a whole other story. But if they're in a situation where the parents can be helped, right, there's hope.
Yeah.
Hence the name of your podcast. If there's hope, then we need to kind of help the whole system. We need to help the whole family.
Yeah,
and that's what the Milo Way really cares about. It's the whole family, not just the child. And, the card deck, by the way, is going to be super helpful for people, not just parents and kids, but for anybody working with kids, therapists, teachers. It's hard to have these conversations with kids about their abuse, whether it's at home or at school. It's hard.
Yeah, it is very difficult.
And sometimes things happen, and on a somatic level, kids can't verbalize what's going on. And story, as we know, story is very powerful in helping kids process things. So maybe let's say I'm a 5-year-old named Jane. Maybe me, Jane, I always sound like Tarzan and Jane. Me, Jane, I can't tell you my mom hit me last night. Right, I can't tell you that, but maybe I could tell you through Milo. Oh, so what happened? What would happen if Milo told us what happened last night?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So kids really respond to character-driven stories, and stories are a safe way to explore what's going on.
Yeah, stories are definitely very, very good for expressing your emotions, and that's again where the arts comes in. Art is such an expressive way of life, and you can really tell a lot about someone or someone's story through art, whether that be dance, whether that be journaling, or whatever it may be, which is why I like to put a notebook in my book bag, because, again, it's very hard to verbally express what they have gone through, and either that or they can't get it out of them.
Yeah.
So having that journal for them to write their thoughts in and express themselves however they see fit is the best way for them to express their emotions.
Yeah. My diary saved my life when I was a kid. It really did. I was 7 years old. I grew up in Brooklyn. I've tried to lose the accent. Please tell me I have.
I think you're good.
Okay.
Now.
You don't want to sound like the nanny in the real world.
Oh my gosh, I love the nanny.
I know. She's the greatest. But, I've tried to kick the nanny accent.
Yeah.
Anyway, when I was 7, growing up in Brooklyn, I remember my mom was like, I said to her I was feeling sad or something. And she's like, well, why don't you write it down? And I said, well, I don't have anything to write it down in, right, Mom? She was like, okay, well, let's go to the mall, right? So we went to the mall. I had saved up, I don't remember, $20 of allowance. I don't know how I did that. I was really young, but I had it. And so we went into this little store, there was a little Hello Kitty store, still huge Hello Kitty fan, by the way, like Hello Kitty till I die. And I got the journal. I bought my first journal, and I wrote in it every day, things that I couldn't say to my sister, things that I couldn't say to my mom, things that I was feeling inside.
Yeah.
And I feel like journaling is such a big part of being able to process and observe your emotions and your thoughts. And it really helps you get to know who you are.
Yeah.
And it's sad because even though I know I'm in digital and I'm in the digital world now, I feel like a lot of us have gotten away from just writing things down. But they've actually done studies where they've shown, like, if you write things down, you actually learn better. Like, you can retain the information more. It becomes a mindful practice, right? Because you have to be present,
of course,
holding the pen or the whatever, and the paper. And it's a physical, tactile experience. And I always tell parents and kids, like, start journaling. I have my journaling program too, where they get to decorate their journal and, and then they get to take the journal and make something out of it. So at the end of the program, they either make like a blog or a video or, a play or whatever. But I feel like it's so important to have that practice. So I think it's great that you have the notebooks in there. And even if you can't really write, drawing. I mean, drawing's another form.
Drawing is definitely another form.
Of expressing.
Like, for me, I know that dance is my way of expression. Singing is also my way of expression.
Me too.
I definitely let out my emotions while I dance,
great.
because it is such an expressive way of life.
And it's physical, so you're moving all those big emotions through your body, by the way, which is huge.
Yeah, you're putting them into an art form that can connect with other people and connect with yourself and connect with your friends, rather than letting those big emotions out in a physical way with someone else.
Right. So it doesn't lead to violence. I mean, the worst thing you could do as a dancer is a bad chaîné turn.
Yeah.
You know?
Or like you're doing like second turns and you slip and fall on your butt and you're like, well, I guess I got to do that again.
You just smile. I used to be a dancer, so I know, Yeah, and singing too. I was in musical theater. I love singing. I still sing in the shower. I can't help it. I'm auditioning for my next Broadway show in the shower.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in my mind, I get the role for the Broadway show.
For sure. Yeah.
And I'm
always killing it in the shower.
And they're like, we need you to come back and sing again.
Right. You got the lead part. Yeah.
Actually, we get all parts.
We get all the parts.
Yeah, we're just that good.
We are.
We are the whole play.
We really are. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, was there anything else that you wanted to leave us with today? I
would just encourage you guys, if you want to support kids in need, I really would love for you guys to go to themiloway.com, order a book. It's super easy, and proceeds will go to Bella's Backpacks and helping those kids. And that's really kind of what we're all here for today. So really appreciate you guys tuning in.
Yeah, me too. So if you liked what you saw here today, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share it with a friend, share it on your social media. That would be a huge help. But with that, I will leave you with this. Keep growing, keep learning, and make sure you keep hope in your heart. Bye.